It's October 1st, 2015. Been a while since I made some videos, so thought I'd get out today and get some videos done of the west end of the property. I made a series last fall around this time where I started the clearing process. I think I'll probably link to that. And now it's about a year later and we're way more open. You can see focusing some energy before all the leaves fall on sketching all the future raised garden beds with a ton of hay. These are like rough sketch hugel mounds that have been here for 1 year up to 5 years. Various stages of rotting logs and twigs, leaves, etc. Now I'm starting to work with some big round bales and a bunch of square bales to really sketch those out. It's feeling nice to have these beds really defined. Then the walkways can be mowed with either a scythe or an electric mower or a push mower. So it's potential to start harvesting some hay or mulch material from these more open glades. It's a lot of fine tooth and nail work going in with loppers and a handsaw and just basically cutting everything flush with ground so that later on I can manage with a scythe. This is a hugel mound my friend Liam helped me dig out. We dug out the trench where the waterway flows through. Took all that soil and threw it on top of some debris and seeded it out. That was about a month ago. It's kind of fun. And daikons and acorn squash. We'll see if we get a yield from those, but it looks like a lot of the kale's coming. A bunch of beets, things like that. This is a more refined, finished hugel mound. You got more stuff like this where it's just brushy, slashy. Anyway, I thought it'd be fun to take a video of this because we've had a pretty droughty summer for the most part. It was a rainy June, July, and August and most of September was really dry. And mainly for my own record, just to remember what happened, 2 days ago I dumped out my rain gauge and we got 4.6 inches of rain within 24 hours. It's kind of insane. Soil's super thirsty, so it took on most of it. I didn't see any flooding events here, but this is what it looks like after 6 weeks of prolonged drought-like conditions and then a 24-hour pulse of 4.6 inches. And what's fun to see is a lot of these swale works, these hand-dug earthworks, these are part swale, part drainage, so it shunts just slightly to the north and east, kind of following a gentle lull in the terrain. I did another video talking about hydrology stuff. I'm going to go a little deeper with this later on. Take that rich subsoil, rich muck soil, and toss it up onto these hugel mounds. These are where we had potatoes this summer, and now they're seeded off to some sort of brassica tuber, probably turnip. But anyway, after 4.6 inches, 24 hours, these waterways, you can see that log is meant to be partially as a filter. There's the next impoundment, nice little pond that's been dug about 6 years ago. That filled right on up. Kind of wish I was out here when it was raining real hard. The beds, the holes that I did my biochar, my cone pit method biochar stuff, they filled right up. So we'll see how long it takes to drain. I suspect it'll be wet back here until next summer now, but we'll see. And then we got the rough sketch of a larger pond that some students helped me start digging out. You can see it's got a little water. I suspect that's going to drain out, but eventually where the flags are, that'll all be dug out as deep as we can get and build some real serious hugel mounds around the outside. That's mainly acorn squash. We'll see if those will ripen up. This was 3rd week of July we dug this, so whether or not we get acorns out of the deal, big question mark, but it's biomass nonetheless. But yeah, you get the idea. This is the west end of the property. This is where some real interesting minor fruit orchard development, U-pick, is going to start going in and build my deer fencing along the edges. We'll have another video talking about strategies on that. Plan to use actually raspberry trellising and grape trellising in order to create deer fencing. So we'll see how that goes. And we got more raised beds all over the place. They really absorb that rain beautifully. It's probably very moist in those trenches, but for the most part these beds, they're just beautifully wet but airy at the same time. Nice and loose. These were where we had potatoes. Potatoes come out and we seed it over to a brassica or some quick crop. This was just seeded the other day. We'll see what comes up. And then that's the last potato bed to lift. Hopefully I get to that sooner than later. That's a great way to break out weeds. I mean, that's a very well shaped, prepped, almost 100% perennial weed free bed that's very well raised. Gave us a potato yield, will give us a radish yield, set this to garlic this fall, get a garlic yield, and then plant our orchard crops in the center. You know, apricots, peaches, etc. in the center of these really fine, organic matter rich raised beds. It started with the potatoes, so basically this was that last year. Kind of a crazy transition. We got, 70 pounds of potatoes out of this space in exchange for getting the weeds out. Anyway, bunch of meandering stuff to talk about, but this just gives you an idea where we are now. Early fall. We'll do some updates as this evolves this fall and into the winter. Looking forward to seeing how this space turns into a really neat orchard over time. Thanks for watching.